Hey, everybody. Welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yes, welcome back.
Today, we're going to be talking about a really fascinating figure, Rev Ike,
Yeah.
and specifically looking at this book summary of Secrets for Health, Joy, and Prosperity for You, which is like, wow,
That covers it all, doesn't it?
yeah, that's a big promise.
It is.
But I was reading this and thinking, this guy was a real pioneer in the whole prosperity consciousness movement.
Absolutely. He was a very prominent figure in that movement. And what's really interesting about him is how he kind of blends, metaphysics with new thought with the Bible.
Yeah, it's like a very unique blend.
Yeah, very much so.
And he had this famous tagline, "You can't lose with the stuff I use." So we're going to try to figure out what that stuff is.
Yeah, what is that stuff? Let's dive in.
Yeah.
Well, one of the core principles that you find throughout Rev Ike's teachings is that our thoughts shape our reality.
Okay, so it's that idea that what you think about, you bring about.
Exactly. You are what you think. And when we can cultivate positive mental attitudes and sort of weed out those negative thought patterns, we make space for all those good things to come in. Health, wealth, happiness.
So it's not just thinking positive, though, right? It's more about.
It is.
It's more about, like, he talks about visualization.
Yes.
And really, like, seeing it in your mind.
And feeling it.
Yeah.
So visualization for Rev Ike was really about a way to bridge the spiritual and material world.
Okay.
So you're not just thinking passively about it. You're really conjuring up these emotionally charged images and feelings as if it's already happening.
So you have to embody it.
Yes, you have to embody it and believe it.
Okay, so then how do affirmations fit into that? Because he's big on affirmations.
Yeah.
Like saying, I am worthy of all good things.
Absolutely. He saw affirmations as a very powerful way to kind of reprogram our subconscious mind. So it's really about, if you're constantly affirming what you want, you're breaking down those old limiting beliefs that we've all accumulated throughout our lives, and you're building a new mindset of abundance.
Okay.
So you're literally like rewiring your internal circuitry for success.
So it's about actively changing those deeply held beliefs that we might not even be aware of.
Yes, and that's where, it's not just about thinking positive, it's really about taking control of our thoughts and using them to our advantage.
Okay.
And that leads to another really interesting concept that Rev Ike talks about a lot, which is self-image.
Self-image, okay.
How you see yourself dictates what you attract into your life.
So that whole, you are what you think, but it's also about how you see yourself.
Yes, because if you see yourself as successful, prosperous, abundant, then you will naturally start drawing those experiences to you.
So it's like setting up the conditions.
Yes, you're creating a blueprint for attraction, and your self-image is the foundation.
Okay, so aligning that self-image with what you want to achieve is kind of a really important first step.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because, this whole idea of denying yourself pleasure or there are a lot of spiritual traditions where it's about, like, you got to suffer, you got to sacrifice, and you'll get to heaven or whatever.
Right.
But he's saying, no, you deserve abundance. You deserve prosperity.
Yeah, and that's where his alignment with these new thought principles really comes in.
Okay.
Because this idea that God intends for us to live abundantly, to thrive in all areas of life. Not just to survive.
So when he's talking about prosperity, he's not just talking about money.
No, it's much broader than that.
Okay.
Think of it as this holistic sense of well-being encompassing health, joy, spiritual fulfillment.
Okay.
And yes, financial abundance too.
It's like mind, body, spirit.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All of it.
All of it working together.
And he really believed that this was something accessible to everyone.
Absolutely.
If they could just get their thoughts and actions aligned.
If you could change your thinking, you can change your life.
Okay, so how do we do that? What are some of the techniques that he provides to sort of help people?
Well, there are a lot, but let's start with maybe one of the most well-known ones, which is the mirror technique.
The mirror technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a powerful one. It's about standing in front of the mirror, looking into your own eyes, and affirming your worthiness of success and abundance.
So it's almost like you're convincing yourself on a deeper level.
It is. You're looking at yourself. You're seeing yourself embody those affirmations, and it strengthens that connection.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then there's this really great analogy that he uses, the mental bank account.
Okay, the mental bank account.
So he says, imagine you're depositing thoughts of wealth and abundance into this mental account every day.
As you're building up that wealth consciousness.
Exactly. And like making regular deposits into a savings account, you're gradually building up your wealth consciousness just through the power of your thoughts. And of course, he emphasizes the importance of gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Expressing thanks for what we have and what we expect to receive.
Gratitude comes up a lot.
It does.
But why do you think he found it so important?
Well, he believed that gratitude was this powerful way to amplify those prosperity vibrations.
Prosperity vibrations. Okay.
Yeah, it's about shifting our focus to the abundance that's already present in our lives.
Okay.
And using that as a springboard to attract even more.
So it's like training yourself to see the world through a lens of abundance.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is that Rev Ike didn't just present these techniques in this theoretical way.
Right.
In his book, he actually includes all these real-life success stories from people who've used his principles to transform their lives.
So he's got the proof in the pudding.
He does. He wanted to show people that these weren't just abstract ideas. They were actionable steps that could lead to real, tangible results.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface of Rev Ike's teachings.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
There's a lot more to unpack here, so let's keep going.
Let's do it. One thing that really stood out to me was how Rev Ike talked about negativity.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that we all experience fear, doubt, worry.
Right.
These are just part of being human.
Yeah, we can't just pretend they don't exist.
Right. But he didn't want us to get stuck there.
Okay.
Dwelling on those negative emotions only amplifies them.
Right.
So he said, acknowledge those feelings, then consciously choose to shift your focus.
Okay.
It's like changing the channel on your TV.
Oh, I like that.
When you find yourself tuned into a negative program, you just switch the channel to something more uplifting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Something more inspiring.
So we have a choice in how we react to those thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. And that control over our mindset is key for Rev Ike.
Okay.
And this ties directly to his view on health and well-being.
Okay, so it's all connected.
It is.
Okay.
He was adamant that a healthy mind leads to a healthy body.
Okay, so he's saying that negativity and stress can actually manifest as physical ailments.
That's right. He taught that negative thoughts, stress, fear, they can create this toxic internal environment that makes us more susceptible to illness.
Right. If your mind's not right, your body's not going to be right either.
Exactly. And on the other hand, when we cultivate positive emotions, a sense of peace, a belief in our own healing power, it can actually contribute to physical well-being.
So our thoughts can actually influence our physical health.
That's what he believed. And he emphasized this interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
And, he believed that harboring those negative emotions could disrupt that balance and lead to disease.
Okay, so keeping your mind healthy is just as important as
it is
keeping your body healthy.
Yeah, it's all part of this holistic view of prosperity.
Right, because remember, prosperity for Rev Ike wasn't just about money.
Right.
It was about living a rich life in every aspect.
Exactly. Health, joy, loving relationships, spiritual connection.
The whole package.
The whole package.
Now, he wasn't afraid to talk about money, though.
Oh, no.
He kind of embraced it in a way that I think a lot of spiritual teachers shy away from.
He did. He saw money as a tool, a resource that could be used to create a better life.
Okay.
Not just for ourselves, but for others as well.
Okay.
And he believed that a lot of times that lack of money stems from our own limiting beliefs and negative programming around wealth.
So it's not about being greedy. It's about shifting your mindset to abundance.
Yes. Recognizing that you're worthy of receiving financial blessings.
Okay.
We need to dismantle those deeply ingrained societal messages that tell us wealth is bad or that rich people are inherently greedy.
Right. It's like that whole, money is the root of all evil.
Exactly. He wanted people to embrace the idea that you can be both prosperous and spiritual.
Okay. So how do we overcome those negative beliefs about money?
Well, he suggested things like visualizing yourself living a life of financial freedom.
Okay.
Affirming your ability to attract wealth and practicing generosity.
Generosity. Okay, so how does giving away money help you attract more of it?
Well, he believed that giving generously was a way to demonstrate faith in the universe's abundance.
Okay.
It's saying, I trust that there's more than enough to go around, and I'm willing to share what I have.
Okay, so it's about shifting from that scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Exactly. Not just in our thoughts, but also in our actions.
Okay, so It's one thing to think it, but you got to actually do it too.
Right, and this ties into his overall message about self-reliance.
Okay, self-reliance.
He didn't believe in waiting for someone or something outside of yourself to save you or make you happy.
Right.
He believed that true power comes from within.
Okay.
And that we each have the responsibility to create our own happiness and success.
So you're not a victim of your circumstances.
No, you're the creator of your reality.
Okay, so where does God or a higher power fit into all of this?
He definitely believed in a higher power, but he didn't see that as a contradiction to self-reliance.
Right.
He believed that God works through us, not for us. So tapping into our own inner power and taking action is a way of aligning ourselves with divine will and allowing those blessings to flow into our lives.
Okay, so it's like a partnership.
Yes.
You're co-creating with the universe.
Exactly.
Not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
Right. And this leads to another crucial aspect of his teachings, focusing on the present moment.
Okay, the present moment.
Yeah.
A lot of mindfulness practices talk about that.
They do.
So how did he connect that with his teachings on prosperity and abundance?
He believed that worrying about the past or the future just robs us of the joy that we could be experiencing right now.
Okay.
It blocks us from fully experiencing the blessings that are already present in our lives.
So by being present, we open ourselves up to those blessings.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned something earlier that I think is really important to dive into a little bit deeper.
Yep.
And that's Rev Ike's unique approach to the Bible.
Yeah, he didn't interpret it in a traditional or literal way at all.
No, he saw it as metaphorical,
Okay.
full of symbolism and allegory.
All right, like, did he ever give any specific examples of how he interpreted certain stories or passages?
No, absolutely. One example is his interpretation of the story of Adam and Eve.
Okay, Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Which seems like a pretty straightforward story about, disobedience and punishment.
Right. Well, he saw it not as this literal account of the first humans, but as a symbolic representation of the power of the mind.
Oh, okay.
He saw the serpent as a symbol of negative thinking.
Negative thinking.
And limiting beliefs.
Okay.
So when Eve listens to the serpent, she's essentially buying into those negative thoughts, which led to her feeling separated from God and experiencing a sense of lack.
So the apple represents those negative thoughts that we take in and believe.
Exactly, and that's just one example.
Okay.
He interpreted many biblical stories in this way, extracting the deeper spiritual principles and applying them to everyday life.
So it's not about dogma or rigid interpretations.
Yeah.
It's about finding the wisdom that can empower us to live a more fulfilling life.
And that's what made his teaching so engaging and thought-provoking.
Right.
He challenged people to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And find their own personal meaning in the scriptures.
It's not about blindly accepting someone else's interpretation.
Right.
It's about engaging with a text and seeing how it speaks to you.
Yes, and another thing that really stands out about Rev Ike is his unwavering commitment to his message.
He really walked the walk.
He did. He truly believed in what he was teaching, and he dedicated his life to sharing it with the world.
Yeah, and you can tell from his recordings and writings that he really wanted to help people transform their lives.
Absolutely.
And experience true abundance.
Yes, and that's why his teachings continue to resonate with so many people today.
It's a timeless message.
It is.
About empowerment, self-reliance, and the power of possibility.
And it's not just a feel-good message.
Right.
He laid out these concrete techniques and principles that people could actually use to change their lives.
He didn't shy away from controversial topics either.
Oh, no.
Especially his teachings on prosperity and his interpretation of the Bible. That drew a lot of criticism from more traditional religious leaders.
It did. But he never wavered in his beliefs.
He stood by his message.
He did, even when it wasn't popular.
Yeah, he was willing to challenge the status quo.
Yes, and offer a different way of seeing the world.
And his message resonated with millions of people.
It did.
Who were looking for a more empowering and fulfilling way to live.
They saw in his teachings this path to self-discovery, personal growth, and the creation of a life filled with joy, abundance, and meaning.
It's about recognizing that we're not victims of our circumstances.
Right.
We're the creators of our own reality.
Yes, and when we tap into that spiritual power within, we unlock our true potential.
For health, joy, and prosperity.
Exactly.
One thing that really stood out to me in the book was his emphasis on love.
Yes.
He seemed to believe that love was a fundamental force in the universe.
It is.
Not just something we experience in relationships.
Absolutely. Rev Ike saw love as this most powerful force in the universe, with the ability to heal, transform, and create miracles. He encouraged people to cultivate love in all aspects of their lives.
Okay, so in their relationships, in their work.
Yes. in their thoughts about themselves.
So it's not just romantic love.
No.
It's about embodying love as a way of being.
Exactly. Approaching life with compassion, kindness, and generosity.
And that ties back to his teachings on self-love.
Yes.
He believed that when we love and value ourselves, we attract people who will love and value us in return.
He saw self-love as the foundation for all other forms of love.
Okay.
If we don't love and accept ourselves, it's difficult to truly love and accept others.
So self-love is a prerequisite for healthy and fulfilling relationships.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important aspect of his teachings, forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Okay.
Rev Ike believed that forgiveness is crucial for our own well-being.
Yeah.
Holding on to anger, resentment, and grudges, it only harms us in the long run.
Right. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Exactly. He saw forgiveness as this act of self-love, a way of releasing ourselves from that negative energy.
So it's not about condoning someone else's actions.
No.
It's about choosing to let go of the past and move forward.
Exactly. And it ties in perfectly with his emphasis on gratitude.
Gratitude again.
Yes. Gratitude seems to be a common thread.
It does.
In a lot of personal development philosophies.
Yeah. What made Rev Ike's approach to gratitude unique?
He saw it as more than just saying thank you.
Okay.
He believed it was a powerful tool for attracting more good things into our lives.
Okay.
When we focus on what we're grateful for, we amplify the positive energy in our lives, and we begin to see the abundance that's already there.
So it's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation.
Yes.
And recognizing all the blessings we have.
Big and small, and that shift in perspective opens us up to receive even more.
Okay, so gratitude is not just a feeling, it's an action.
It is.
It's something you actively do.
Yes. And he had some interesting views on faith, too.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about blind faith or wishful thinking.
Right.
For Rev Ike, faith was this deep knowing, this unshakable trust in the universe's ability to provide for us and guide us toward our highest good.
So it's about trusting that even when we don't understand why things are happening,
yes,
there's a higher purpose at work.
Exactly. He saw faith as the foundation upon which we build a life of abundance.
So it's about trusting the process even when things get challenging.
Yes, believing that we are always supported and guided.
And that unwavering trust is essential for manifesting our dreams.
It is.
And living a life of true abundance.
All of this is giving me a much deeper understanding of what he meant by "you can't lose with the stuff I use."
Right. It's not just a catchy slogan.
It's not.
It's a profound statement about the power we each have to create the life that we want.
Exactly. So we've really unpacked a lot of Rev Ike's key teachings.
Yeah, we have.
But how does this all come together practically? How can someone actually apply these principles in their daily life?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. So how do we take all this amazing information and actually put it into practice?
Well, that's the exciting part, right?
Yeah.
It's like we've been given this incredible toolbox filled with all these powerful techniques.
Yeah.
And now it's time to start using them.
Right. Like, where do we even begin? What are some of those first steps that people can take to start applying Rev Ike's teachings to their own lives?
We've talked about some of the key techniques already.
Right, like the mirror technique.
Yes.
Mental bank account.
Gratitude practice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can dive a little deeper into how those actually work.
Yeah, let's start with the mirror technique.
Okay.
It sounds pretty simple. You know, just stand in front of the mirror and say some nice things to yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
There is. It's about intentionally connecting with yourself at a deeper level.
Okay.
When you look into your own eyes
Right.
and you affirm your worthiness of success and abundance,
Yeah.
you're creating this powerful link between your inner self and the reality that you want to create.
So it's like you're talking to your subconscious mind.
Yes.
You're reprogramming those old beliefs.
Exactly. And doing it in front of the mirror adds another layer to it.
Okay. How so?
Well, you're actually seeing yourself embody those affirmations.
Right.
Which reinforces the idea that they're true for you.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the mental bank account?
Ah, yes, the mental bank account.
That's a good one.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it really reframes the way we think about wealth and abundance.
Okay. In what way?
Instead of viewing it as something scarce and limited,
Right.
we start to see it as something that we can actively cultivate and grow.
So it's about developing that wealth consciousness.
Exactly, that deep inner knowing that you are worthy and deserving of abundance.
And the way you do that is through that daily practice.
Yes, just like you make deposits into a savings account.
Right.
By consistently depositing thoughts of wealth and abundance into our mental bank account, we gradually start to shift our mindset.
So even if you don't see results right away, you're still building that foundation.
You're laying the groundwork. You're planting those seeds.
Okay, and then of course there's gratitude.
Ah, yes, gratitude.
Which is, like we said, comes up all the time.
It does!
But what makes Rev Ike's approach to gratitude so unique?
Well, he saw it as more than just saying thank you.
Okay.
He believed it was a powerful tool for attracting more good things into our lives.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, when we focus on what we're grateful for,
Right.
we raise our vibrational energy,
Okay.
which makes us a magnet for more blessings.
So it's like you're telling the universe, I'm ready for more.
Exactly. And it's not just about feeling grateful, it's about expressing that gratitude.
Okay, so how do we do that?
You can write in a gratitude journal.
Okay.
You can express thanks verbally.
Yeah.
Or even just take a moment to appreciate the beauty around you.
Right, like just notice the good things.
Yes, actively acknowledging the good things in our lives makes a huge difference.
So make it a regular practice.
Yes, and when you combine gratitude with those other techniques we've talked about,
Right.
the affirmations, the visualizations, you create this powerful synergy that can really accelerate your journey toward abundance.
It's like all these things work together.
They do. They complement each other.
You know, one thing that really strikes me about all of this is that it's not just about material success.
No.
It's about becoming a more well-rounded person.
It is.
It's about that inner transformation.
Remember, Rev Ike believed that true prosperity encompassed all aspects of life.
Right. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual.
Exactly. It's not just about having a lot of money.
Right.
It's about living a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment.
And that's why he talks so much about self-love.
Yes.
Forgiveness.
Connecting with your spiritual essence.
Yeah, those are like the foundational pieces.
They are the foundation upon which we can build a life of true abundance.
So it's about aligning your inner world with the outer world that you want to create.
Yes, that alignment is key.
When everything's in harmony.
When your thoughts, beliefs, actions are all aligned with your deepest desires, that's when the magic happens.
It's not about forcing it.
No, it's about creating the right conditions.
Allowing it to flow.
Yes.
Well, we've covered so much ground today.
We have.
It's been an amazing deep dive into Rev Ike's teachings.
And I hope it's inspired people to learn more.
I know that's for me.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that we have so much more power to shape our reality than we often realize.
Rev Ike really empowered people to see themselves as the creators of their own lives.
Yes.
And he gave us practical tools to actually do that.
He did.
To overcome limiting beliefs, to tap into our inner power, and to create that life of abundance that we all deserve.
So the question is, what kind of reality are you choosing to create?
That's a great question to leave people with.
What kind of life do you envision for yourself?
Because the power to create it lies within you.
It does take some time to reflect on your own self-image, your beliefs about abundance, and the kind of life you truly desire.
As Rev Ike would say, you can't lose with the stuff I use.
And on that note, we'll leave you to your own deep dive.
Until next time, keep those thoughts positive.
And those dreams big.